Welcome guys, welcome back from that break that we have. As I said, most important, the break just gets the blood flowing and the oxygen in, all right, to help us think a little bit clearer. We're looking at the human gaseous exchange. And if you've been following the series, you would have seen that we had this awesome, dissection where we had an ox and we could see the lungs, we could see the trachea, we could even see the esophagus and everything. It was really huge, it was really big. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So what we're looking at now is we're going to actually look at the process of how we are going to breathe. Okay, so guys, at the beginning, when we first started, we said to you, we very often use the word breathing to just, how we bring oxygen and carbon dioxide in, how everything happens, the gaseous exchange. We sometimes even say cellular respiration is breathing, but we know that each of them have got, their own particular definition. So when we look at breathing, we're going to look at an actual physical process. Now, as I said to you, one concept that we really need to understand is that the lungs don't have any muscle. The lungs actually cannot breathe. Now, if we look at the process of breathing, if we look at the definition, it's a mechanical process. Now, a mechanical process involves muscles. Because what do muscles need to be able to do? They need to be able to relax and contract. Now the tubes, yes, my trachea, my bronchus, and even my bronchioli, they have got muscles in, but not my lungs. My lungs don't have the alveoli that makes up the lungs. So what happens is when I'm going to breathe, anytime I bring oxygen in, I'm going to use the word inhalation. Sometimes the word inspiration is used, or I'm going to get a carbon dioxide out. That was expelled means, to go out. And that is going to be exit, get out, exhalation, or another word sometimes, expiration. So when I'm expired, I've run out of time, same thing. Okay, so what we're going to look at is when we look at the process of breathing, we need to use muscles. Now, they don't have, The lungs don't have, but what they do have, they have a thoracic cavity. Now, if we have a look over here, where do we get muscles? I've got this beautiful big diaphragm, at the bottom, covering, it's a muscle. In between each of the ribs, I have got intercostal muscles. Remember, when we looked at the skeleton, intercostal muscles. And both of those are going to be able, to move. And them moving is going to be able for the breathing process to occur. Now, if we look at the process of inhalation, now I've brought this little model with me, and you guys can make this. It's really simple. All that it is I've got a 2-liter bottle, that I've cut in half. And this 2-liter bottle is going to represent your rib cage. I've got a straw over here, which is going to represent your trachea. Now, I only have one lung, because when I made two, well, actually, my kids in my class made these. When they did two, they were all skew, and the one lung was worked, and the other lung didn't. So we're going to do the one. And then at the bottom over here, they used a little bit of cling wrap to show that it's the diaphragm. Now, I want to show you, a balloon can't do anything. The balloon is the lungs. So I'm going to be reliant on the muscles working, because what are they going to do? Look at this diaphragm. My diaphragm is dome-shaped. When I'm relaxed. It's dome-shaped. How the lungs are going to inflate is they need to have space, and they don't want to be cramped, So they want lots of space, and they want little pressure. Two opposite things. More space, little pressure. And the rib cage and the diaphragm are going to do that. How do I do that? look at my diaphragm, okay? It's pushed in, squeezed, and my ribs are down, squeezed. All right, but now I want to bring air in. So when the diaphragm contracts, it moves. Look at the balloon. Okay, look there. Can you have a look there? So when the diaphragm pulls down, what happens? Space. When my rib cage, when my intercostal ribs pull, my ribs go out, right, and down. So what have I made? Space. And when I've made space, my lungs can inflate. But the most important part is I've decreased the pressure. And as soon as I have a pressure gradient, high to low, where does air move? High to low pressure. The air gets drawn into, okay, look, when I pull it down, there we go. When I pull it down, the balloon is not doing the work. The air is doing the work. That is called inhalation. So my lungs don't do the work, the diaphragm and the intercostals do. Now have a look. Breathing in takes a lot of work. Now when I want to breathe out, what do? What do you do when you blow up a balloon and you want to get all the air out? I squish it. It's exactly what happens here. So now my diaphragm, breathe in, my diaphragm's out, my rib cage is wide, and I say air out. I just go. So I push my diaphragm back in. So I push, pressure, okay? And what else do I do? Lots of pressure, and I have, and I press in, and I've got a little bit of space. So I breathe out. So look there, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. So guys, those are the ones. What happens, all right, when you sneeze, when you cough, right, and when you shout? You need to actually use your abdominal muscles as well. And I actually read an article that said that men use their abdominal muscles to breathe as well. And that's why they get that nice little six-pack. Not fair. Don't like it. All right? So sometimes when we need to shout or sneeze or cough, the diaphragm, all right, and the ribs are not enough. And then, all right, our abdominals get sore. I don't know if you ever coughed a lot where you've been really sick. I don't know if you've ever felt it. Sometimes your tummy muscles, your abs, all right, can also get quite sore there. Okay, what I want you to have a look at, we're not going to go through the questions, but a very popular question that we have is using this model. Do you see over here? The following apparatus was set up. I'm going to go through it a bit with you. The following apparatus was set up in a lab. Study the sketch and then ask it. Okay, so basically, this is my homemade version. Very often, using this model, they can actually ask you questions. I went through a few past papers and whatnot, and I said, see that this is quite a popular question that they asked. Now, they said here, what parts of the human air passage do the labels A and B represent? Okay, so now remember, A, what was it? That's my straw, so that is going to be my trachea, right? And B, it's where so I don't have this on my model. As I said to you, mine was a little bit retarded. So my B was going to be B for bronchus, because those are the two that change. So my model was a little bit inaccurate, but that is not the end of the world. Right, now it says to you, explain what will happen to the balloons as the diaphragm is pulled downwards. Now, it just wants one single thing. So what will happen is when the diaphragm pulls downwards, it says explain. What will happen? The balloons will inflate. And why will they inflate? Because pressure has done what? Decreased. And what have we done? Space has increased. And what does this do? Air moves from the outside into the lungs. All right, so there we go. Nice little question. So using the whole process of inhalation, exhalation. The last question here is, how does the working model shown in the above, which is the one to the side, differ from the breathing system? Now, guys, there's the one thing here that the model cannot do, and this is the rib cage cannot move. Right, so when we get to my model, yes, it's a model, it does show it, but it really doesn't show what happened right to my rib cage. Okay, guys, I hope that if you have all these resources, maybe you can make one at home. It will help you to understand the process. Right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.